The year is 2026, and the most important automotive event on the planet just happened. Not in Geneva, not in Detroit, not in Munich. It happened in Beijing. And what unfolded at the Beijing Auto Show was not just a collection of new cars. It was a declaration of war, a full-scale assault on everything the Western automotive world has spent a century building. Lamborghini, Rolls-Royce, Porsche, Ferrari, brands that have defined what a performance car, a luxury car, or a supercar even means, are now staring down a wave of Chinese engineering that is faster, smarter, more technologically advanced, and in many cases, significantly cheaper. We are talking about cars that hit 100 kilometers per hour in under 2 seconds, cars with over 1,900 horsepower, cars that fly, cars that think, cars that charge to 80% in under 10 minutes, cars with level 4 autonomous hardware wrapped in bodywork so dramatic it makes a Lamborghini Revuelto look like a rental car. Today, we are breaking down 15 of the most jaw-dropping machines that rolled, glided, or hovered into Beijing 2026. And we promise you, by the time we get to number 1, your entire understanding of what a car can be will be permanently changed. Stay with us to the end. Because number 1 is not just a car, it is a statement about the future of the entire industry. Let's get into it. Car 15, Audi E7X concept. We start with something that proves this is not just a Chinese story. It is a global story being told on Chinese soil. Audi brought its E7X concept to Beijing 2026, and it is a significant moment. Because when a German legacy brand chooses Beijing as the stage to reveal its most forward-thinking EV concept, it tells you everything about where the center of gravity in the automotive world has shifted. The E7X is a bold, futuristic, high-performance EV concept that signals Audi's next-generation electric architecture. The design language is a dramatic departure from anything Audi has produced before: sharp geometric surfaces, an almost predatory low stance, and a visual identity that feels less like an evolution and more like a reset. Audi has not released full performance specifications for the E7X, and that is actually telling in itself. Because in a room full of cars claiming 1,000, 1,500, even 1,900 horsepower, Audi is playing a different game, one of design intent and architectural ambition rather than raw number wars. What the E7X represents is Audi acknowledging that the future of performance luxury is electric, it is software-defined, and it is being shaped right now in China. The fact that they chose Beijing to say that is not a coincidence. For a brand that built its reputation on quattro all-wheel drive and precision German engineering, the E7X is a fascinating pivot. It is not yet a production car, but it is a promise. And in 2026, promises made in Beijing carry enormous weight. Rolls-Royce, take note. When Audi starts reimagining itself from the ground up on your turf, the luxury EV space is no longer yours to define. Car 14, XPeng GX. XPeng has spent years being described as China's Tesla. After the GX, that comparison feels like an insult to XPeng. The GX is XPeng's flagship performance SUV, and it arrives at Beijing 2026 as one of the most technologically complete vehicles at the entire show. We are talking about a machine with 750 kilometers of CLTC range, level 4 autonomous hardware baked into its architecture from the factory, and an AI-powered driver assist system that is genuinely among the most advanced on any production vehicle anywhere in the world. Let's talk about that range for a second. 750 kilometers. That is not a typo. In a performance SUV, the kind of range that makes a Lamborghini Urus driver think very carefully about their next fuel stop and their next fuel bill. The GX is priced at around $58,000. Let that sink in. A flagship performance SUV with level 4 autonomous capability, 750 kilometers of range, and cutting-edge AI driver assistance for $58,000. A Lamborghini Urus starts at over $230,000 and does not offer a fraction of the technology. XPeng's XNGP intelligent driving system in the GX is designed to handle complex urban environments, highways, and everything in between with minimal driver input. This is not a driver assist system that occasionally helps you stay in a lane. This is a system that is actively working toward full autonomy. The GX also benefits from XPeng's in-house chip development and its deep integration between hardware and software. A vertical integration strategy that mirrors what made Tesla so formidable in its early years, but executed with a level of refinement and speed that Tesla is now struggling to match. At $58,000, the XPeng GX does not just compete with the Lamborghini Urus. It makes the Urus look like a very expensive, very loud, very analog relic. Car 13, Lotus ELETRE. X for me. Lotus, a name that carries 75 years of British motorsport heritage. Colin Chapman's philosophy, simplify, then add lightness, is one of the most quoted principles in automotive history. And now Lotus is building a 939 horsepower plug-in hybrid hyper SUV called the ELETRE X for me, and it debuted at Beijing 2026. Before you say anything, yes, Lotus is now majority owned by Geely, the Chinese automotive giant that also owns Volvo, Polestar, and Lynk & Co. And the ELETRE X, for me, is the clearest expression yet of what happens when British performance DNA meets Chinese engineering scale and ambition. 939 horsepower in an SUV. That is more power than a Lamborghini Urus Performante, which produces 657 horsepower and costs significantly more. The ELETRE X for me hits 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.3 seconds, not slow by any measure. But the real story here is the PHEV architecture, which gives it approximately 260 miles of pure electric range alongside the combustion backup. This is a car that can do school runs in silence, track days with fury, and long-distance touring without range anxiety. It is the Swiss Army knife of performance SUVs, and it is wearing a Lotus badge. The design is unmistakably aggressive, wide haunches, active aerodynamic elements, and a visual presence that commands attention in a way that a Rolls-Royce Cullinan simply cannot. The Cullinan is imposing. The ELETRE X, for me, is threatening. Inside, the technology stack is thoroughly modern. Large digital displays, connected architecture, and the kind of software integration that Lotus would never have been able to achieve without Geely's resources and China's tech ecosystem behind it. Colin Chapman wanted to add lightness. His successors have added 939 horsepower, and somehow it works. Car 12 is Xiaomi U7 Ultra. Xiaomi, a company that, not long ago, was best known for making affordable smartphones and robot vacuums, a company that many in the automotive world dismissed when it announced it was building a car. Nobody is laughing now. The Xiaomi SU7 Ultra arrived at Beijing 2026 as one of the most talked about performance sedans at the entire show, and for very good reason. This is a track-focused, Nürburgring-tuned, tri-motor performance machine that has been engineered with a singular obsession: to be the fastest production electric sedan on the planet. Xiaomi sent the SU7 Ultra to the Nürburgring Nordschleife, the most demanding and respected test track in the world, and it posted a lap time that sent shockwaves through the performance car community. The SU7 Ultra lapped the ring faster than the Porsche Taycan Turbo GT, a car that Porsche spent years developing specifically to dominate that circuit. Read that again. A Chinese smartphone company's electric sedan beat Porsche's best at the Nürburgring. The SU7 Ultra uses a tri-motor powertrain with a combined output that puts it firmly in hypercar territory. Its aerodynamic package, developed through extensive computational fluid dynamics and real-world testing, generates meaningful downforce while maintaining efficiency. The suspension tuning is aggressive and track-biased, but Xiaomi has engineered enough compliance into the setup to make it livable on public roads. What makes the SU7 Ultra particularly remarkable is the software. Xiaomi's Hyper OS, developed for its smartphone and smart home ecosystem, has been adapted and integrated into the SU7 Ultra's vehicle operating system. The result is a level of over-the-air update capability, app integration, and user interface sophistication that no traditional automaker, including Porsche, can currently match. The SU7 Ultra is not just a fast car. It is a fast car built by a technology company that understands software, user experience, and ecosystem integration at a level that legacy automakers are only beginning to grasp. Porsche built the Taycan Turbo GT to be the benchmark. Xiaomi used it as a target, and then they beat it. Car 11, Zeekr 001FR. If you thought a shooting brake, a wagon essentially, could not be a hypercar, the Zeekr 001FR is here to permanently correct that misconception. Zeekr, the premium electric brand under Geely, has taken its 001 shooting brake body and turned it into one of the most extreme performance EVs ever built. The 001FR uses a quad-motor powertrain, producing between 1,265 and 1,300 horsepower, with rumors of a future variant pushing beyond 2,000 horsepower. It hits 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in approximately 2 seconds. Its top speed is electronically limited to 280 kilometers per hour, but the headline number is not the horsepower, it is the tank turn. The Zeekr 001 FR can execute a tank turn, spinning on its own axis by driving its left and right wheels in opposite directions simultaneously. It is a feature borrowed from military vehicles and made famous by the Rivian R1T. On a shooting brake with over 1,200 horsepower, it is absolutely spectacularly absurd. And we mean that as the highest possible compliment. The 001FR rides on a 100 kilowatt-hour CATL Kirin battery with 800-volt architecture, capable of charging from 10 to 80% in approximately 15 minutes. A P racing brakes, the same supplier used by Formula One teams, handle the stopping duties. Carbon fiber aerodynamic elements manage the airflow. A special Raikkonen mode, named after the legendary Formula One world champion, unlocks the car's full performance envelope. There is also a Zeekr-specific performance mode that adjusts torque vectoring across all 4 wheels with millisecond precision, giving the 001FR a level of dynamic capability that its wagon body shape absolutely does not suggest. A Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato is Lamborghini's attempt at making a supercar that is also practical. It costs over $300,000 and produces 631 horsepower. The Zeekr 001FR has twice the power, carries more people and luggage, and can spin on the spot. The shooting brake is dead. Long live the shooting brake. Car 10, Xiaomi Vision GT concept. And now we enter the top 10, and we begin with something that is technically a concept, but a concept so detailed, so specific, and so technically ambitious that dismissing it as mere showroom theater would be a serious mistake. The Xiaomi Vision Gran Turismo hypercar concept arrived at Beijing 2026 with specifications that read like science fiction: 1,900 horsepower, a drag coefficient of just 0.29 CD, while simultaneously generating approximately 1.2 tons of aerodynamic downforce. If you know anything about aerodynamics, you know that achieving low drag and high downforce simultaneously is one of the hardest problems in automotive engineering. These two goals are fundamentally in opposition. Xiaomi claims to have solved it. The mechanism: magnetic wheel covers that remain stationary while the wheels spin behind them, improving both aerodynamic efficiency and brake cooling simultaneously. An active rear light system that functions as an invisible aerodynamic spoiler, adjusting airflow without the visual bulk of a traditional wing. These are not gimmicks. These are genuine engineering innovations. Inside the Vision GT sits a ring-shaped sofa racer cockpit, a design that wraps the driver in a 360-degree intelligent assistant interface. Steer-by-wire yoke controls replace the traditional steering column. Every surface is a display, a sensor, or a structural element. There is no wasted space, no unnecessary material. Xiaomi has not confirmed a production date for the Vision GT, but given what the SU7 Ultra has already demonstrated about Xiaomi's engineering capability, the Vision GT should be taken very seriously as a preview of what is coming. Ferrari's SF90 Stradale produces 986 horsepower and costs over $500,000. The Xiaomi Vision GT concept claims nearly double that output. If even a fraction of this concept reaches production, Ferrari has a problem. Car 9, Hongqi TIANGONG S concept. Hongqi, the red flag. China's most storied automotive brand, the car of state, the vehicle of presidents and generals. For decades, Hongqi represented Chinese automotive ambition in its most formal, most ceremonial expression. The Tiangong S concept is something else entirely. This is a high-tech, two-door performance coupe built on Hongqi's new dedicated EV platform, and it represents the brand's most dramatic reinvention in its history. Gone is the formal, upright luxury of the traditional Hongqi. In its place is a sleek, low, aggressively styled coupe with hidden door handles, a seamless exterior surface, and a design language that owes nothing to the past. The interior is where the Tiangong S makes its boldest statement. Hongqi describes it as an integrated cabin and driving architecture, a seamless digital cockpit that wraps around the driver and eliminates the traditional distinction between instrument cluster, infotainment system, and ambient environment. Every surface is connected. Every element is responsive. The driver does not sit in front of a dashboard. The driver sits inside a system. Hongqi has also announced a new manufacturing approach for the Tiangong S, a combination of large format die casting and advanced assembly techniques that cuts manufacturing time in half compared to traditional methods. This is significant not just for cost efficiency, but for quality consistency. Fewer joins, fewer welds, fewer potential failure points. A Rolls-Royce Wraith, the brand's two-door Grand Tourer, costs over $330,000 and is built using methods that have not fundamentally changed in decades. The Hongqi Tiangong S concept is reimagining not just what a luxury coupe looks like, but how it is made. The red flag is flying higher than ever. Car 8, Hongqi Tiangong. Flying car prototype. We need to pause here, because what we are about to describe is not a car in any traditional sense. It is something that the automotive industry has been promising for decades and consistently failing to deliver. Hongqi brought a flying car to Beijing 2026, and it actually works. The Tiangong eVTOL, electric vertical takeoff and landing, is a modular flying vehicle with a two-seat carbon fiber cabin. It has a claimed cruise speed of approximately 150 kilometers per hour and a flight range of more than 200 kilometers. It takes off and lands vertically, like a helicopter, but uses electric motors and rotors rather than a combustion turbine. The modular architecture is the key innovation here. The Tiangong is designed so that the passenger cabin can be separated from the flight module and used as a ground vehicle, or connected to different propulsion modules for different use cases. It is not just a flying car, it is a reconfigurable mobility platform. China's government has been aggressively developing what it calls the low-altitude economy, a regulatory and infrastructure framework designed to enable commercial eVTOL operations at scale. Hongqi's Tiangong is not a fantasy. It is a product being developed in direct response to a regulatory environment that is actively being built to support it. Rolls-Royce makes a helicopter. It is called the Rolls-Royce Model 250 engine, and it powers many of the world's executive helicopters. But Rolls-Royce does not make a flying car. Hongqi does. The future of personal mobility is not just electric. It is not just autonomous. It is vertical. And Hongqi just proved it. Car 7, Zeekr 007. Back on the ground and back to Zeekr, because the brand deserves a second entry on this list, and the 007 sedan earns it. The Zeekr 007 was co-developed with Huawei, and that partnership is the story. Because Huawei is not just a telecommunications company. Huawei is one of the most advanced technology organizations on the planet, with deep expertise in semiconductors, AI, sensor fusion, and software architecture. When Huawei puts its name on a car's technology stack, it means something. The 007's top dual-motor all-wheel drive configuration produces 582 horsepower, not the highest number on this list, but paired with a 100 kilowatt-hour battery, offering up to 905 kilometers of CLTC range, it represents one of the most complete performance range packages of any electric sedan anywhere in the world. 905 kilometers. In a performance sedan, that is London to Edinburgh and back on a single charge. The driver assist system is Huawei's latest ADS 4.1, paired with a 896-line LiDAR unit, the highest resolution LiDAR system fitted to any production vehicle. For context, most production vehicles with LiDAR use units with 64 to 128 lines. 896 lines means the 007 is building a three-dimensional map of its environment with a level of detail that is genuinely unprecedented in a production car. The interior is a study in restrained sophistication. A floating 15.6-inch display, a clean digital cluster, and a minimalist cabin philosophy that prioritizes clarity over complexity. It is the kind of interior that makes a Porsche Taycan's cabin feel busy. The single-motor rear-drive version of the 007 makes 354 horsepower and hits 100 kilometers per hour in 3.44 seconds. That is the entry-level model. The entry-level. Porsche has spent years positioning the Taycan as the definitive electric performance sedan. The Zeekr 007 has arrived with better range, more advanced autonomous hardware, and a technology partner that Porsche cannot match. The Taycan is not obsolete, but it is under serious pressure. Car 6, Dream Nebula 01. Stop everything. We need to talk about Dream technology, because Dream technology makes robot vacuums, robotic floor cleaners, the kind of product you buy at a home appliance store and forget about until it gets stuck under the sofa. And Dream Technology just built a 1,903 horsepower quad motor hypercar. The Nebula 01 is not a concept. It is not a rendering. It is a physical, engineered, tested performance machine that Dream Technology brought to Beijing 2026, and it may be the single most audacious automotive debut in the history of the Beijing Auto Show. Let's go through the numbers, because each one deserves its own moment. 1,903 horsepower. That is the combined output of 4 motors, one at each wheel, each producing 469 horsepower independently. Total system output, 1,903 horsepower. For reference, the Bugatti Chiron Supersport produces 1,578 horsepower and costs over $3.5 million. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 1.8 seconds. That is not a misprint. 1.8 seconds. The Bugatti Chiron does it in 2.4 seconds. The Rimac Nevera, widely considered the fastest accelerating production car ever built, does it in 1.97 seconds. The Dream Nebula 01 claims 1.8 seconds from a robot vacuum company. 23,000 Newton meters of wheel torque. The structural rigidity to handle that torque is rated at 45,000 Newton meters per degree of torsional stiffness, a figure that rivals dedicated racing chassis. A drag coefficient of 0.185 CD, while generating approximately 1.2 tons of aerodynamic downforce. Again, achieving both simultaneously is an engineering feat of the highest order. And then, there is the Super Boost mode, an optional performance enhancement that adds another 30% power output on top of the already insane baseline. That would push total output to approximately 2,474 horsepower. And then, and we cannot stress enough that this actually happened, Dream Technology tested a rocket-assisted jet edition of the Nebula 01 that claims 0 to 60 miles per hour in 0.9 seconds. 0.9 seconds. A Formula 1 car does 0 to 60 miles per hour in approximately 2.6 seconds. A top fuel dragster does it in under 0.8 seconds. The Dream Nebula 01 Jet Edition is claiming to sit between a Formula 1 car and a top fuel dragster in straight-line acceleration from a robot vacuum company. Lamborghini's fastest production car, the Revuelto, produces 1,001 horsepower and costs over $600,000. The Dream Nebula 01 nearly doubles that output. If Dream Technology can deliver even a fraction of what it is claiming, Lamborghini's entire performance hierarchy needs to be reconsidered. The Nebula 01 is either the most extraordinary automotive achievement of 2026 or the most extraordinary piece of automotive theater. Either way, it is the most talked about car at the show. Car 5, Avatar Vision X SPECTER. Concept. from the extreme to the ethereal. The Avatar Vision. EX Spectre is not trying to be the fastest car at Beijing 2026. It is trying to be the most visionary. And in a show full of extraordinary machines, it may have succeeded. Avatar is the premium brand born from the partnership between Chang'an Automobile and Huawei, two organizations that together represent some of the most advanced engineering capability in China. The Vision EX Spectre is their statement about what luxury mobility looks like when you remove every constraint and simply ask, what should a car be? The answer, apparently, is a 5.8-meter rolling sculpture. The Vision EX Spectre uses pillarless coach doors, the kind of dramatic rear-hinge doors that open to reveal the cabin like a stage curtain parting. A full-length glass roof floods the interior with light. The exterior is covered in geometric diamond-cut surfaces with embedded lighting elements that transform the car into what Avatar describes as a three-dimensional light sculpture. At night, the Vision EX Spectre does not just look like a car, it looks like a piece of kinetic art. The powertrain centers on a silicon carbide motor claimed to achieve 99.1% efficiency, a figure that pushes the boundaries of what electric motor technology is currently capable of. For context, most high-performance electric motors operate at 95 to 97% efficiency. 99.1% is extraordinary. The autonomous hardware is rated for level 4 capability, meaning the car can handle the vast majority of driving scenarios without any human input. Inside, Avatar has created what it calls the Vortex, an AI interface that controls panoramic displays, ambient lighting, climate, and entertainment through a unified conversational system. The cabin is described as a capsule, a self-contained environment that insulates occupants from the outside world while connecting them to it through technology. It is the opposite of a driver's car. It is a passenger's paradise. A Rolls-Royce Phantom costs over $450,000 and represents the pinnacle of traditional automotive luxury. The Avatar Vision EX Spectre concept represents a completely different definition of luxury, one built on technology, autonomy, and sensory experience rather than hand-stitched leather and wood veneer. Rolls-Royce has been building the world's finest cars for over a century. Avatar has been building cars for a fraction of that time, and yet the Vision EX Spectre makes the Phantom feel like a product from a different era. Car 4, Avatar 06T. If the Vision EX Spectre is Avatar's dream, the 06T is Avatar's reality, and the reality is almost as extraordinary as the dream. The Avatar 06T is a shooting brake, a body style that combines the roofline of a coupe with the practicality of a wagon, and it is one of the most technically complete vehicles at Beijing 2026. At 4.94 meters long, with a 2.94 meter wheelbase, it is a substantial machine. But it is what sits beneath that body that makes the 06T genuinely remarkable. The top specification tri-motor all-wheel drive powertrain produces 712 kilowatts, that is 955 horsepower, and launches the 06T from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in approximately 2.8 seconds. The dual-motor rear-drive version, which is the lesser option, still produces 672 horsepower and hits 100 kilometers per hour in 3.74 seconds. In any other context, 672 horsepower would be the headline. Here, it is the consolation prize. The pure EV version uses an 89.33 kilowatt-hour CATL battery and offers more than 740 kilometers of CLTC range. But Avatar has also engineered a range extender variant using a 1.5-liter engine, a 45 kilowatt-hour battery, and a combined range of up to 1,250 kilometers. 1,250 kilometers in a shooting brake with nearly 1,000 horsepower. The technology package is where the 06T truly separates itself. Huawei's ADS 4.0 autonomous driving system, a new 192-line LiDAR unit, one of the most advanced production LiDAR systems available. A 35.4-inch 4K windshield display that spans the entire width of the dashboard. A 15.6-inch center screen. The kind of technology stack that makes a Rolls-Royce Ghost's infotainment system look like a 2015 touchscreen navigation unit. The 06T is the car that proves Chinese EVs are not just competing on performance, they are competing on every dimension simultaneously: range, technology, practicality, design, and power, and winning on all of them. A Lamborghini Urus S produces 657 horsepower, offers zero electric range, and starts at over $230,000. The Avatar 06T has 300 more horsepower, 740 kilometers of electric range, and technology that the Urus cannot touch. The Urus is a great car. The Avatar 06T makes it look like it is from a different century. Car 3, Lynk and CO, Time to Shine concept. Third place. And we are giving it to a concept that, in a show full of production-ready machines, managed to steal the conversation through sheer drama and intent. The Lynk & Co Time to Shine is the brand's first ever GT concept, and it is a two-door, 2+2 Grand Tourer that has been designed with a single overriding philosophy: driving purity. In an era where every performance car is becoming more autonomous, more assisted, and more disconnected from the act of driving, Lynk & Co has gone in the opposite direction. The Time to Shine is built around the driver. Every decision, from the AI-assisted digital chassis to the retracting non-essential displays in performance mode, is made in service of the human behind the wheel. That yellow plus button on the center console is the key to understanding this car. Press it, and the Time to Shine transforms. The suspension drops 15 millimeters. Front and rear aerodynamic elements deploy. Non-essential displays retract into the dashboard, leaving only the information the driver needs. The car becomes leaner, lower, more focused. It is a physical, tactile, visceral experience, and in 2026, that is increasingly rare. The claimed 0 to 100 kilometers per hour time is approximately 2 seconds. At 4.78 meters long and 2 meters wide, with a low stance and dramatic door design, the Time to Shine has a visual presence that is genuinely arresting. It is one of the most striking concepts at the entire show, and that is saying something in a room that also contains the Avatar Vision EX SPECTER and the Xiaomi Vision GT. Lynk & Co has not confirmed whether the Time to Shine is electric or hybrid, but with those performance numbers and that active aerodynamic package, the powertrain is clearly not a limiting factor. What the Time to Shine represents is something more important than any single specification. It represents the idea that Chinese automotive brands are not just building fast, technologically advanced cars. They are building cars with a point of view, a philosophy, a soul. Ferrari has built its entire brand identity around the idea that its cars have a soul, that they connect driver and machine in a way that no other car can. The Lynk & Co Time to Shine is making the same claim, and it is making it convincingly. Car 2, Fangchengbao Formula S. Runner-up position, and it goes to a car, actually a family of cars, that represents the most direct, most deliberate, most unapologetic assault on European performance sedan supremacy at the entire Beijing 2026 show, Fangchengbao, a brand that most people outside China had never heard of before this show. A brand that arrived in Beijing 2026 and announced itself to the world by building a Porsche Taycan killer. The Formula S is Fangchengbao first high-performance sedan, and it is built on an 800-volt tri-motor platform that produces approximately 1,000 horsepower and nearly 23,000 newton-meters of wheel torque. It shares this platform with the longer Formula SL sedan, giving the brand an immediate two-car performance lineup that covers both standard and extended wheelbase preferences. Both models use BYD's Desus M magneto-rheological suspension, a system that uses magnetic fields to adjust damping rates in real time, responding to road conditions and driver inputs with a speed and precision that conventional hydraulic dampers cannot match. The wheelbase is 3.1 meters. Overall length approaches 5 meters. These are substantial, serious, grand touring machines. The Formula S is expected to arrive in late 2026, and Fangchengbao has been explicit about its target, the Porsche Taycan, not inspired by the Taycan, not positioned near the Taycan, aimed directly at the Taycan, with the specific intention of making it irrelevant. The Formula S has staggered 21-inch wheels, carbon fiber detailing throughout, and a coupe-like roofline that gives it a visual drama the Taycan's more conservative styling cannot match. The claimed range is approximately 800 kilometers, significantly more than the Taycan's best range figures. 1,000 horsepower, 800 kilometers range, 23,000 newton meters of wheel torque, carbon fiber, magneto-rheological suspension, 800 volts architecture. Expected price significantly below the Taycan's starting point. Porsche has spent years building the Taycan into the definitive electric performance sedan. Fangchengbao has spent considerably less time building something that, on paper, beats it in almost every measurable category. The Formula S is not just a car, it is a message, and the message is, we are coming for you. Car 1, Denza Z. Number 1. The car that earns the top spot, not just because of its performance numbers, though those are extraordinary, but because of what it represents as a complete package, as a vision, as a statement about where Chinese automotive engineering has arrived. The Denza Z, BYD's luxury sub-brand, has built a drop-top supercar that targets the Porsche 911 Cabriolet directly, and does so with a level of technological ambition that the 911, for all its brilliance, simply cannot match. Let's start with the powertrain. The Denza Z uses a tri-motor all-wheel drive system, producing over 1,000 horsepower. It hits 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in under 2 seconds. It uses a carbon fiber chassis. It has active aerodynamics. It comes in hardtop, soft top, and track editions, giving buyers the flexibility to choose their preferred expression of the same extraordinary platform. The steer-by-wire system eliminates the mechanical connection between the steering wheel and the front wheels, replacing it with an electronic system that can be tuned with software precision. The DSUS M magneto-rheological suspension, the same system used in the Fangchengbao Formula S, adjusts in real time to every road surface and every driving input. But the technology that truly sets the Denza Z apart is its battery and charging system. BYD's Blade 2, battery with flash. Charging 2.0 is capable of peak charging at 1,500 kilowatts. That is not a typo. 1,500 kilowatts of peak charging power, and it can charge from 0 to 80% in approximately 9 minutes. 9 minutes. A Porsche 911 Cabriolet takes approximately 5 minutes to fill with petrol. The Denza Z takes 9 minutes to charge to 80% at peak charging speeds. The gap between electric charging time and petrol refueling time, the last great practical argument for combustion engines, has effectively been closed. The Denza Z is offered in 3 distinct editions. The hard top for those who want the full grand touring experience, the soft top for those who want open-air drama, and the track edition for those who want to take 1,000 horsepower to a circuit and find out what it is truly capable of. The Porsche 911 Cabriolet is one of the greatest driver's cars ever made. It has been refined over 6 decades into something close to perfection. It costs over $130,000 in its base form and significantly more in performance variants. The Denza Z has more power, faster charging than a petrol fill-up, more advanced suspension technology, steer-by-wire precision, and a carbon fiber chassis. And it is coming from a brand that did not exist in its current form a decade ago. The 911 is not dead, but it is no longer unchallenged. And for the first time in the 911's history, the challenge is coming not from Stuttgart, not from Maranello, not from Santa Agata Bolognese, but from Shenzhen. The Denza Z is the #1 car from Beijing 2026. Not because it is the most powerful, not because it is the most extreme, but because it is the most complete, the most refined, the most direct challenge to the established order of performance automotive excellence. And it is just the beginning. 15 cars, 15 statements, 15 reasons why the automotive world will never look the same again. From a robot vacuum company building a 1,900 horsepower hypercar to a smartphone brand beating Porsche at the Nürburgring, to a flying car from China's most storied automotive brand, to a drop-top supercar that charges faster than you can fill a petrol tank. Beijing. 2026 was not just an auto show. It was a turning point. Lamborghini, Rolls-Royce, Ferrari, Porsche. These are not bad companies. They are not making bad cars. They are making some of the finest automobiles in human history. but they are making them in a world that is changing faster than any of them anticipated. A world where the rules of performance, luxury, technology, and value are being rewritten, not in Europe, not in America, but in China. The question is no longer whether Chinese EVs can compete with the best in the world. That question has been answered, definitively, emphatically, at Beijing 2026. The question now is, how does the rest of the world respond? We will be watching, and so should you. If this video opened your eyes to what is happening in the global automotive industry, hit subscribe, because we are just getting started. Drop a comment below. Which of these 15 cars shocked you the most? And share this with someone who still thinks Chinese cars are cheap imitations. They are not. Not anymore. Not even close. See you in the next one.